Start video, start video. There we go. Hello. If you are seeing this part of this training, it's because I have not shared it live yet and you are on my replays. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to keep this interesting for you because actually this part's really boring. I just share it out to Facebook and pull up comments and all sorts of stuff. So again, it's going to be boring for a minute for you, but I'll try to entertain you by walking you through the process. So what I do first, this is a Zoom recording, is I go to Facebook, I just click the little things and I say I want to share in my group. And the group name is Real Estate Agent Sales Success Training. And there is, I put like every single keyword I could possibly find in there so that we could be found in there. And then the next step is it loads, it prepares the live stream. And then, there we go. We get to type in our little narrative here about what we're going to talk about. So today's topic is effective networking. And this is where I put this. Whoop. Tuesday with Tiffany, effective networking. Alrighty. Fix my little typo here. Going live. All right, here we go. It says it's setting up my live, and while it does that, I am going to pull up my comments so we can get follow along with what everybody has to say about this. All right, so Facebook says I'm live. Hey guys, how are you? Say hello when you come on. We are going to talk about, I better turn my phone down. We're going to talk about effective networking today, if I can say it correctly. Whoa, 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 whoa. I get a whole bunch of notifications all at the same time. Okay. Here we go. Let's find our notes and our comments. Hello, friends. Ooh, my hair is doing something funny today. Let me see if I can fix it. Hold on. Hold on one second. There we go. Hola, hola. Okay, this thing. There we go. It took me a second. Hi, guys. How are you? We are going to talk about something that bothers me today in real estate. Hello, hello. So let me pull up my notes so that I can see all of you while we do this. Okay. Networking. Networking bothers me. It shouldn't bother me. I know this. I'm turning my phone down. But I think the reason why networking bothers me is because I have been at way too many networking events gone wrong. Hey, how are you, Jen? So we, as salespeople, really, really, really love to network. And what that means to a lot of salespeople is that they go to industry events or networking events or chamber events or whatever, and they are there to sell to everybody else that are also attending these events to sell to everyone else. Nobody's going to the events to buy anything. They're going to relationship build or sell their thing. And so if we can do that a little bit differently, a little bit more effectively, I think that we will all level up as an industry. I think that we will all level up as salespeople, and you will be better than 80% of the other salespeople out there. If you think about networking as building relationships rather than going to sell to somebody at the event there. Hashtag live, checking in. Hey guys. Okay, so I've got my comments there so I can follow along with what you guys are saying, and we are going to dive into the training. So what we're going to do is I'm going to share my screen, sharing my screen. That's what I want to do. There we go. Effective networking. And I'm going to make my face just a little bit bigger. And we're going to go into present mode. Hey, here we are. So effective networking presented by me. If you have no idea how to pronounce my last name, it's Szakal. You just completely ignore that there's an S associated with it. So we're going to talk about why we network as real estate agents, as sales professionals. We're going to talk about where to find your events, how to approach a conversation, because talking about the weather isn't fun for everyone. I personally do not appreciate small talk. I'm just one of those naturally leaning introverts, and so small talk is a little bit much for me. So we're going to talk about a little bit more depth to starting a conversation, and then how to follow up, how to be better than everyone else and actually follow up, because that's important. All right, here we go. Networking. Everyone's doing it. It's a little bit of peer pressure, huh? Hey, Jason, how are you? So networking, relationship building. Let's just say it that way. We are relationship building. So if we look at what previous experiences have looked like, I will take the Chamber of Commerce events, for example. I've gone to specific networking lunches at the Chamber of Commerce, or maybe you go to B&I groups or whatever. And it's very much the same thing. What do you do? Here's what I do. Here's my card. Here's why you should buy from me. And then you never hear from these people again, right? How did you get there, though, when you found your previous events? Did someone invite you to them? Was it a chamber event? Was it an industry-related event? Did you get an email? How did you hear about this event? Because you need to decide if you want to do more of them. What was your motivation for attending? If you did not feel successful with what you did in the past for networking, look at what your intention was when you went there. Was your intention specifically to just make some quick sales? Because that doesn't typically happen. So when people decide to buy from you, there's a small bunch of them that will decide to buy from you from the very first interaction. It's statistically less than 10%. It's a very, very small amount. And those are people that were already ready to buy at that moment. But the majority of people will refer people to you and decide to buy with you after 6 to 12 touch points. It's going to be a long nurture period. And so if your motivation is that you're going to go to a networking event and sell to these folks right away to capture the 10%, and you have sales breath coming out of you while you're talking to them, they're going to be so hands off from you in the future for future interactions, because they're going to think every single interaction with you is going to be like that. And that feels uncomfortable to a lot of people. And so think about what your motivation was when you were attending, and that's going to dictate how people perceive all of your interactions to be. If you have, I have a mentor, he's amazing, and he talks a lot about positive indifference. And so what that means is when you're engaging with someone, when you're talking to somebody about a transaction or what you do, when you're talking to them, you don't have sales breath. You don't project it out on them. You're like, I am totally okay if you buy with me, and I'm totally okay if you don't, because then it takes the pressure off you, and your client will also, your potential future client will also feel that. It's just a totally different tone of the conversation. If any of you guys have ever sat down with me for a sales related conversation, I hope that you can feel that positive indifference in the conversation. It's really just about, what do you need? And is this a good fit, right? Because that's what you should be looking at too. Is it a good fit both ways? Okay, how did the conversations go in past networking events? I will tell you, sales breath. Thank you, Shannon, for that. I will tell you that in almost every single networking, I'm holding a cup of coffee in the other hand, which is why I'm not doing double quotes, networking events that I have been to, it almost always is, hi, I'm whoever the person's name is. I'm Mike. What do you do? Here's what I do. Here's why it's great for you. Here's my card. And they shove it down your throat. And I don't love that. And then what did you feel like when you left? Did you feel like that was a successful event? And if it was a successful event, which very often if like you're not projecting sales breath, it might be a very successful event. It feels good. It feels different than if you went around and shoved your card down everybody's throat and then hoped for a sale later because you didn't get their information either. So totally different situation, right? So think about, if you've had successful events in the past, what did you do that made you feel that way? And then do more of that. All right, networking continued. Everybody's doing it. Why? Because selling is a relationship-based business, and you need to go actually out and talk to humans in order to have relationships, in order to have sales. People love to buy. They do. Some of you guys go to Target too. I love to go to Target and find stuff, but I don't go into Target looking for those specific things. It just kind of comes up, right? Some of these relationships you start and you don't even realize like you need a LinkedIn professional to help you. I had no idea that that was lacking, but through a relationship and discovering what the value of that would be, I could make a buying decision on that. I didn't have to be sold to. I made a buying decision for it. Does that make sense? Hey, Sam, how are you? So people don't like to be sold. In fact, they actively recoil from it. And so think of it more of discovering what their needs are and discovering what makes them tick and what makes them awesome. And then if it's a good fit both ways, awesome. And people want to buy with people they know, like, and trust. Those components are so very necessary for the sale. They have to know you exist. They have to know what you do. So you can't be a secret agent and be successful. They have to like you, and they have to trust that you will get the job done. If they know you and like you but don't trust you, they will use someone else. They'll be your friend, but they're going to use somebody else. If they know you and trust you but don't like you, they're going to think you're a jerk and they're not going to use you, or they will use you but just kind of not engage with you. If they would have liked you and they would have trusted you but had no idea that you offered that service or that you even existed, then they can't make a buying decision to go with you, right? Yeah, I like to be more personal with my clients too. Hey, Darryl, how are you? That's a really, really good point, Frank. I don't separate myself out anymore from my business and my personal life because they just need to know me. They need to see who I am and how I operate and what I enjoy and aspects of me, because again, they need to like me as well. And so if I can be myself with them and I can talk to people about things that I personally relate with as well and that I'm personally interested in as well, I feel like the rapport and the depth of the relationship grows from that too. So I think that's really, really good insight, Frank. Okay, networking. Where do you even start? My gosh, where do you even begin? Your passions. What are you passionate about? Identify things that you already do that you're really involved with. I have several agents that are passionate about, sorry, I got a weird message on my phone at the exact moment that I started saying this, about rescues, about animal rescues and contributing to the rescue population and adoption rate rather than dog shops, puppy shops, right? And so they share that, and they share that often. And because they share that, there are other people that are like, hey, yeah, I love this too. I totally am about this. One of the things that I'm passionate about is my city. I love Grand Rapids to the point where I created an account that's I Heart GR. I love my city. And I actively share that with people. And so because they are also following in that same passionate thing, people love Grand Rapids. Just so you guys know, I love Grand Rapids. I can find my people because we align with our interests. Host events that center around that topic. So going back to the Grand Rapids thing, because I love this city, I want to showcase the city. So there's some things that I'm doing to showcase it, and we can talk about ways that you can align as well with your passions. So one of the things that I do is a neighborhood spotlight. And so we are going around to different neighborhoods and spotlighting small businesses where you can get tacos at in that neighborhood. Any kind of wellness things happenings. There's a small business spotlight we do on Saturdays. What else are we doing? Something else community events in that neighborhood so that we can showcase what's going on in the neighborhood, because there's a lot of neighborhoods that people don't think of for Grand Rapids or even visit. I really love doing the Creston one, but anyways, I'm getting off topic. So we did that. We did a scavenger hunt downtown. The scavenger hunt is like, you use Instagram and they just have to tag their pictures of it. It cost me all of 3 hours of my time to set up and then just tracking it and the raffle prizes for whoever did the scavenger hunt. So there's things like that to do. Yeah, I love Grand Rapids too, you guys. I know a lot of you are in Grand Rapids. So that's a lot of fun. But things such as rescues, you could highlight a rescue animal if you volunteer at the rescue place. You can host adoption fairs at a local place. You can donate a portion of your commission to a local rescue. There's all sorts of things that you can do to pump up what you're passionate about and then showcase that as a part of your real estate realm as well. Engage with other professionals and influencers in that space. I actively partner with small businesses in the neighborhoods that I'm showcasing because small business owners know everyone. It is their job to know everyone. Small business owners are so resourceful. They have grit. They have a passion about their own stuff, and they have a big sphere because they also have to be salespeople. And so if I can showcase and lift up that small business owner and give them more exposure, they're going to do the same thing for my business. And so it just grows. And it's the same thing for rescues or nonprofit housing or whatever it is that you're passionate about. I have one agent who I love, and he is super into Pokemon Go. I ran into him when he was doing Pokemon Go, and I tell him all the time he should host Pokemon Go meetups. And I think that would be super cool because there are so many people that still do Pokemon Go, you guys. My husband does it on a daily basis and walks his little egg around and hatches. It's a whole thing. So I know that there is an entire clientele still out there using Pokemon Go. And if that's your passion, do the Pokemon Go thing because people will get out and walk around with you all over town doing it. Yeah, I love Jason Creedon's pet posts too. They're awesome. Yay, rescues. You ride a motorcycle and it's helped a lot. The taco trailer I own. That's incredible. That is absolutely incredible, Frank. Veterans. Yes. You guys, if you are passionate about veterans, let me tell you, number one, that holds a special place in my heart because my husband is a veteran, but also they protect their own so much. And we did, I worked at a nonprofit housing developer for a period of time, and we had a veteran program, and we were not getting a lot of traction with our veteran program. And it was not until we brought a veteran on board to run that program so that he could speak their language and talk to them about their needs and the things that were inside of their heart, so they felt like he was talking directly to them on things that they knew intimately together. They are just a really, really great group of people that we can support in a deeper way. And so I love that you are passionate about veterans, Mark, and I think that's an incredible way to serve a community that's going to rally around you and be ambassadors for you. You're going to have a whole bunch of little ambassadors running around supporting your business. So I think that's incredible. I think that's really incredible. Okay, what you need to do to identify what kind of events you should be doing is to figure out who your ideal clients are. So we talked 2 or 3 weeks ago about finding your people, developing a sphere even if you didn't have one. And in that conversation, we talked about ideal clients. Basically building a persona of who you want to serve. Maybe it could have been somebody that you served before that you really enjoyed working with them and you want to do that again. Or maybe it's just people like yourself that you personally enjoy or would enjoy working with yourself. So you profile out yourself. Where do you hang out? Where do you find out about events? What kind of events do you go to? Where do you consume your news? What social media platforms are you doing? Go back and rewatch that video if you need a refresher on this. But when you know who your ideal client is, you know what events to go to interact with them and build relationships. For example, if you want to have an ideal client of doctors, now doctors are very interesting. A lot of hospitals have relocation groups that they work with in their human resources, but every single year they have a new group of interns and attendings that they offer positions to from around the country. This is a constant source of income for you. If you want to be the doctor person, I bet you're going to the rehoming event for doctors whenever they give out their little awards, and the local colleges when they announce which hospitals have accepted them. You're going to hang out at all the events that doctors go to, but you will know what events doctors go to because you will have profiled out that ideal client. Doctors do not have to have the longevity of work history in order to buy a house. There are a lot of lenders in town that have doctor programs. So ask if that's your thing. If you want to build your doctor persona, I would make a whole list of people that are involved in that transaction. So people with doctors programs for lending, the HR department of the local hospitals, the deans of the colleges of medicine near you. I would go all out and be at all of those things. Any kind of event that those folks were hosting, that's what I would be at. And that's where you should be too, wherever your ideal client hangs out. If your ideal client is a second-time homeowner and one of them is a church pastor and the other one's a stay-at-home mom and she hangs out on Pinterest and watches HGTV, I would be all over Pinterest talking about paint colors that work, awesome activities, for kids, things to do in Grand Rapids for kids for free, like all of that stuff. Profile that out and be where she is. And then any kind of mommy and me groups is where I would be advertising and or bringing my children, right? Does that make sense, you guys? There's been a lot of really good comments. Let me take a break and read some of the comments. All right. Rescuing old homes. I love that for you, Darrell. I love that. I love the stuff that you share about your hydrangeas in your old home too. I think it's fantastic. Okay. I love Grand Rapids too. Oh, Jason Creedon. Fantastic. Okay. You have a comment here, and the comment, the context of the comment is not fantastic. That's not what I'm saying. I'm going to read it here in a second. But what you're saying is felt by so many people, and we're going to talk a little bit about it here. I honestly feel so out of place in most of the networking events. I always feel like I'm in the wrong room, even at GRAR or my brokerage event. Okay, I'm going to set that down there, and we're going to talk just for a moment. it is so easy for me to feel that way too. You guys, most of you have seen me in person or on these, and I can hold a very good conversation like this about topics that I know very well. I don't do well at party settings. Like we are about to have our kickoff, and I know that it brings me anxiety to go into a place where I don't know what the rules are, or I don't feel comfortable engaging because I'm not sure about the other side. And so if you ever feel out of place, I imagine it's a matter of unmet expectations, anxiety about not knowing the rules of whatever this is, like how to dress, how many cards should you bring, what should you expect out of it, but also just the anxiety of trying to come up with topics to talk about. So we're going to talk about this here in just a second, like I said, but you are not alone, not alone at all. This happens all the time. So when you align yourself with things that you're passionate about, things that interest you, you will naturally have something to talk about. When I go to real estate events, I feel totally fine because I can talk about real estate related topics. When I go to my kids' PTA meeting, like you guys, that stresses me out so much. It's too much. Okay, I think we have all been there before, Melissa. I really do. Okay, so networking, where do you even start? Events based on networking. Eventbrite.com is a great place. Meetup.com, Facebook events, any industry related events that interest you, like if it's rescues or if it's whatever, make sure it's something that you're interested in. Don't go to an event for the sake of just networking, because you're not going to be interested in the thing. You're not going to even be interested in the people that show up at this thing because they have all come for whatever the interest related topic is, and you're not even interested in it. So go find something that you are interested in and go to those events. Okay, here we go. Networking. Don't start with a line about the weather. What do you talk to them about? Here's the thing that I like to do when I go to networking events or just events in general. I find somebody that's alone. And I go up to them and I talk to them about them. Most of the time, they don't even know what I do before I connect with them later on. I mean, yes, I will mention it if they ask, but I want to find out about them. And I typically enter a conversation with a genuine compliment. People can read through BS, but if you genuinely like somebody's bag, say so. And then ask them why they decided to come to the topic or whatever the event is, why they're here, what brought them here, what they found interesting about the topic or the speaker that they just did. So a genuine compliment will get you into the conversation, and then a conversation about what you just went through, why you're there, what drew them to the event will continue the conversation. And from there, it's really just listening and asking questions to further what they're talking about. So again, them. I'm talking to them about them. I have no interest in talking to myself about myself to them. If they ask me about me, obviously I tell them my name. And if they ask me something further, I'm like, I hang out at events like this with you. And then further, I will say I'm a real estate broker, but really I came for whatever the topic is. Like that's what I came to talk about, because I want to develop a relationship with them first. I want to see if it's a good fit first. And if the conversation kind of floats awkwardly, it'd be like, hey, it was really great to meet you. I'm going to go grab some more punch or whatever it is. Okay. Networking. Continue. Don't start with a line about the weather. Tips. Be yourself. I always think of the Aladdin genie in the ear when that happens. I love that part. Anyways, be yourself. Be yourself. Practice your handshake. It does matter. So your handshake matters when you don't want to do this. Don't do that. What you should think about for a handshake is turning a doorknob. You go in there, try to connect it right like that. You see how this part of your hand goes in like that? And then like you're turning a doorknob, that amount of grip and that amount of sturdiness. You can definitely ask for their business card. In fact, they probably are so ready to give you their business card. Don't shove yours down their throat. Be like, hey, it was really great connecting with you. I'd love to follow up. Do you have a business card? Do you have a card on you? And then you take theirs. When you respond back to them, which we'll talk about follow up here in a second, that's when they'll get your contact information. If they ask for yours, they're like, hey, yeah, do you have yours on you? Go right ahead and give it. I typically don't though. And don't judge them based on what they can do for you at that moment. You have no idea who they know. They could be best friends with the mayor. You have no idea. So be genuine. enjoy the conversation with them, learn something from them. I have a note. It's over there. It's so far over there that I'm not going to get up and walk back. Well, I'll be right back. Just sit tight for 1 second. Ah! I have had this for over 15 years. Oh, it says, learn something from everyone you meet. It's one of those little dove promises. You guys know which ones I'm talking about. I really do go into a learning mindset in any kind of conversation with somebody because I want to know what they know, and I want to know who they know, and I want to learn more about them. So just ask them. Just ask them any kind of information about them. And then the referral question is very interesting. Yeah, you can host a LinkedIn local event. Great insight, Chris. I completely forgot about that. The referral question, if you're ever wondering how to have a sales-based conversation with somebody, and again, this is about them. This is not about you. You can say, if I was to meet someone, how would I know if they're a good referral for you? Or if I'm in a conversation with someone, how would I know if they're a good referral for you? Because they are going to think you are the best thing since sliced bread if you want to help them grow their business. And the way to really know what they do is to ask that question, because they're going to tell you who they serve there. And then make sure you make notes about it when you get back in your car about who that is. They will love you. They will love you if you ask that. I promise you. Please eat some Dove chocolates, Terry. I loved chocolates. The dark chocolate. I do like milk chocolate, but dark chocolate. It's my heart. Okay, following up. Be better than everyone else. You guys, people go to these networking events and they are so desperate to sell, they forget to follow up. Don't be that person. So a handwritten card with a reference to something that they said during the event is incredible. And you'll have their card so you can make notes like when you get back in the car. And you can reiterate what your genuine compliment was to open up the conversation. You can do all sorts of things, but something particular to that event which draws their mind back to it. Connect on social media platforms. If we are Facebook friends or LinkedIn friends, you guys should have received from me a video or a message thanking you for the connection almost immediately after. Within 24 hours after that connection, you should have received it on purpose. Because what happens is when you connect to somebody on a social media platform and then you send them a message afterwards, the algorithms connect you for the next 3 weeks. They're going to see everything you do for the next 3 weeks. And you want to be developing rapport with them during that time. Remember, they have to know, like, and trust you. And so you've got the handwritten card on the way, and they're seeing all your stuff of you being a real human. This is huge for following up. Invite them out to coffee or lunch after a month or so, just to follow up and see more about their business, to learn more about their business is how I would probably phrase that. And then stay in touch regularly. They are now part of your sphere. You should put them on whatever sphere campaign you have, which is typically at least one direct touch point every other month. And then a lot of passive things like a newsletter for sure. I consider a newsletter a little bit more passive. A direct touch point is like, hey, I was thinking about you. Hope you're doing well. Hey, I'd love to grab coffee with you and learn more about your business. Those are direct touch points, in my opinion. Newsletters are regular touch points and they offer insight, but not everybody opens those up to get that touch point. So that's just how I feel about it. Liking and commenting on their social media posts, whether it's on LinkedIn or Facebook, is good. And then just keeping in touch. Birthday, Christmas cards, also direct touch points. So that is, I think this is my last slide. It is my last slide. That is how I network, and that's how I build relationships so that I have a better depth of the relationship, and I nurture that relationship because they're not buying right away, and I need to have those multiple touch points. And again, you never know who they're connected to who can help you achieve your goals later on down the road. Do you guys have questions about this? Oh, thank you, Terry. That's really sweet. I'm going to read through your comments really quick to see if there's any questions. If you have them, please feel free to post them. If this live ends and you have additional questions, just tag me and I will be happy to help. Good. Yeah, I agree. Find somebody that's alone to talk to, because they're probably feeling just as awkward as you at that moment and looking for some sort of help. anything really to not be bored out of their mind. And you may even say, hey, how are you doing with this event? You're all over here by yourself drinking. Is it really that bad? Don't say that to them. I don't think they'd love that. However, sometimes that's what I do. I stand in the corner and like look out like, okay, can I leave yet? If you're doing that, I don't do that anymore now, thank goodness, because I choose events that I'm okay with. If you're doing that, choose different events. Okay, I don't see any other questions on there, so I'm going to end the live training. If you guys have questions, sorry about that. If you guys have questions, please just tag me in them and I will be more than happy to help them. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. I'll talk to you soon. Here we go.